And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. Well, when I finally get it into podcast land, I'm sorry, man. I've been doing kind of terrible on that.
That's okay, Mike. Life is busy, and it isn't like we're making. We'd love to make money off this operation, but we're not.
We're not.
Just being honest.
We're just here talking because we're friends, and it gives us a way to talk about sports, and our wives don't have to roll their eyes and glaze over while we do it.
Yeah.
However,
so it's almost like a taped conversation.
Yeah, pretty much. However, my wife has been into sports this week. We've been watching tons of the Olympics. I love it.
So. I wish I could say the same, but I don't know. My wife was kind of not really interested in the Olympics this year.
Is your wife not into the gymnastics and stuff like that?
I think we watched it here and there.
Okay. But, my wife has fallen in love with it. Knows all the storylines, tells me, oh, she's the best. She's the one that won that last year. I'm like, okay, you're into this. I'm good. Let's do it. Let's talk it. I'm learning.
Well, that's good because we'll be talking a lot of Olympics here.
Yep.
Just as much about more than just who's won medal or the medal counts of our adopted countries, but also just the storylines that we've picked up on in watching the Olympics.
Man, there's some good ones too. I can't wait. And if you saw the title of this live stream, you know what the first one we're going to talk about is.
Mm-hmm.
That the best one of them all. I'm not going to spoil it. Stay tuned. You'll learn about that one. But we also have other storylines that we're going to talk about, and what our favorite sports we've watched that we haven't been into before.
Okay. Yep. Okay. In addition to that, we'll be talking about our normal topics that we do on this show. NASCAR, the Chicago Cubs, baseball in general, as we got to touch on the trade deadline a little bit. But Mike, all that and more, but why don't you go ahead and roll that intro?
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
All right, Mike. So thanks for bringing that through your phone and playing that.
Yep.
Since we're not in a traditional studio that we normally are.
Yeah, I'm in town. I got to do a 5-hour motorcycle ride today. Reason wasn't great. I had a funeral to come to, but that's okay. The man knew Jesus, and he's no longer suffering from cancer.
Good.
So
yeah.
And you got a day off today.
Yeah, I took the day off because I wasn't sure when exactly you'd be here.
Yeah.
And but I used the afternoon off to go out to lunch with a buddy from church.
So. Awesome. That's great. Love it. So let's get started with the poll question. That's know you picked my two favorites, right?
I did not. I did not.
So story time.
Go ahead.
Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, every morning in my house. My mom was making cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
Now, story number 2. My mom was proud of herself for years because she made real biscuits and gravy. She made homemade biscuits to make with her gravy. I got to tell you something, Rich. Ain't nothing like homemade biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
My mom, when I was little, she's like, I fell in love with it super early because my mom made it a lot. And my mom said, well, from now on, if you want biscuits and gravy, you got to learn how to make the biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how to make the biscuits. So at like 8 years old, I started making biscuits, and Mama would make gravy. Man, I love it. Now I have to make the gravy because I don't live near here. So my mom's not coming over to make gravy. So I got to make biscuits and gravy. Soon enough, when my children are old enough, I will teach them how to make biscuits. I will make the gravy, and that's tradition will live on.
You just got to hope they like biscuits and gravy enough, Mike.
Oh, they both have so far when we've had it.
That's good.
So,
all right, Mike,
So you made this one really hard for me, Rich.
I'm sorry.
You made it really hard for me. I got 2 nostalgic factors. And then on top of the nostalgia factors, they're just so good.
They are.
And here's a funny story, though. I got two more funny stories. When you're, because I just in case you're not ready yet. Story number one. You know how I was telling you that my mom was proud of making biscuits and gravy, and the biscuits were homemade?
Okay.
Guess what type of cinnamon rolls we always had for Christmas? The Pillsbury roll.
Yeah.
So those were
cinnamon rolls are a part of our Christmas. That was always a part of our Christmas growing up as well. When we have Christmas with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
They're also coming out of the Pillsbury can.
By the way, we did that. We started that tradition with our children. We do biscuit. We do cinnamon rolls, and we put on Lord of the Rings, and we open presents.
Yeah. Although we do have another, I guess there's a family from my parents, my wife's parents' church that always makes cinnamon roll Christmas trees. So they make the cinnamon rolls, they make it into a little Christmas tree, the shape of a Christmas tree, and then they drizzle it to make it look like a decorated Christmas tree.
I like it.
I'm just not a big fan of cinnamon rolls. I still have I'll eat it, but
what if I said oh so sweet cinnamon rolls?
I don't know what those are.
The ones that we had the day after my wedding.
Don't remember.
They were like that big. I'm not kidding. They're in downtown Davenport. If you haven't been there, check them out. They like make cinnamon rolls that are like that big. They're as big as your head, Rich.
Okay. So, Mike, I went with biscuits and gravy as well.
I did too, yeah. Okay. I ended up voting with my gut, and it was biscuits and gravy.
Okay. So, biscuits and gravy did win. But before we give the shout-outs for who voted with biscuits and gravy, we do got to give the honorable mentions to the two people who voted cinnamon rolls.
Two whole people.
Yeah. Bobby Hansen and Tyler Allen.
One of those is a baker.
Okay.
The other one, I'm not sure. That one surprises me. But
biscuits and gravy joining you and I, Mike, Andrew Goforth, Keaton Werner, Bob Driscoll, my brother Josh, your wife Danielle, Brandon Close, Greg Johnson, and Nathan Ross.
Yeah.
So biscuits and gravy is moving on. This week's poll question, we're going back to the cereal side of our bracket, and we are going with Count Chocula and Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay. My daughter loves both of these. Oh, she's never had one of them, but she loves her Honey Nut Cheerios. I'll tell you what she does for breakfast every week or every day next week.
All right. So one other thing though, with when it comes to cereal, have you seen the Kelsey mix?
No.
The Kelsey mix cereal is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
Lucky Charms.
Okay.
And Reese's Puffs, all mixed together in one cereal.
I love all of those things. I love everything about that. Which Kelsey?
The Kelsey mix, as in Jason and Travis.
So it's like the whole family does this. This is like their traditional.
Or it's their way to get, or their podcast is marketing this, and you can. They've partnered with. Is Post does those?
I think.
Post or General Mills to have the cereal made and marketed for them.
I didn't know that was the thing. Now I kind of want to try it.
Look for it at, I think Walmart has it.
Okay.
Maybe look for it at the Wally World.
Okay. I might have to try that.
All right, Mike. So we're gonna have to change up a little bit.
Okay.
The NASCAR. We're still gonna go into the NASCAR corner, but we're not gonna be able to make left turns because we're kind of under a red flag.
Yeah.
Not even a red flag. We're just on pause. We're on a break.
We're on a break. Like Ross and Rachel break, or like a real break.
Let's just go with a pause. NASCAR's on pause.
NASCAR's on pause.
But
we won't get into it that they were on a break.
Yeah.
They were on a break.
Give our sponsor shout out for the NASCAR corner.
This is the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated.
All right, Mike. So this week in the NASCAR corner, we're going to look at where the drivers stand in the playoff standings with since they're on this Olympic break.
Okay.
All right. So, Mike, with the NASCAR playoffs, they take the top 16 drivers. That makes up the playoff field. If you have a win, you automatically qualify for the playoffs. Unless in the odd event, there are 16 winners. And there are 17 winners. then it goes off of the points being the tiebreaker on who gets the final playoff spot. We almost had that happen last year. This year, it shouldn't happen since there are only 4 races to go.
And there's 4 people that haven't. There's more than 4, or there are 4 slots for people who haven't won races. So,
all right, Mike. So with 4 wins and the overall leader in the playoff standings, Kyle Larson from Hendricks Motorsports.
Makes sense.
Yep,
makes sense. My number 1 driver and who I picked at the beginning of the year to win it all, Denny Hamlin with 3 wins.
Who else has 3 wins, Mike?
3 wins is also had by William Byron and Christopher Bell.
Yeah, William Byron is who I took as my preseason pick to win it all. So it's good to see that he's probably locked in. 2 wins is the defending series champion, Ryan Blaney. And Mike, give us the rundown of who has won 1 race.
1 race, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, and Austin Cindric. Rich, who is in on points if it were to happen today?
Martin Truex Jr. on his farewell tour of the Cup Series.
Yep.
Ty Gibbs, Chris Buescher, and my favorite driver, Ross Chastain.
On the outside looking in, you have Bubba Wallace down 7 points, Chase Briscoe down 83 points, Kyle Busch down 112 points, Todd Gilliland down 118 points.
Yeah, and outside of those top 4, you also have Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, Carson Hocevar, Ricky Stenhouse.
Okay.
So let's first start the discussion with who below the cut line do you think has a chance either with a win or could get in on points with 4 races to go?
That one's easy. The guy who has won a race every year for the last 19 years, the guy who has not missed the playoffs, the guy who we love to hate, Kyle Busch.
All right. I'd have to say a guy that's not in that top 16 right now, who I think could sneak into the playoffs. I think I'd have to go Bubba Wallace. He's close enough above the cut line that even if he can just stay in the top 20, if he can get some top 15 finishes and hope that, or maybe even get in on a win since their last 4 races are not necessarily in this order: Michigan, Richmond, Daytona, and Darlington.
Yeah, I think he has a good chance too. I think any of those bottom 8 though, the Martin Truex Jr. all the way down through Todd Gilliland, all have good opportunities and have a good chance of winning. And one of those races is Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 1 of Daytona: anyone can win. So watch out for that. Okay, Rich. Other news in NASCAR, we got an announcement that a former driver is going to race Watkins Glen. And it's not who you were originally thinking. Yes,
coming in and going to the number 50 car as a 3rd entry for 2311, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah.
I've never seen him in a NASCAR race. He's an IndyCar driver, isn't he?
He started as an IndyCar driver, raced in NASCAR for like 10 or 15 years. Wasn't treated the best. Also, didn't perform well. I'm slightly surprised that Jordan is willing to bring him in. He did not perform well at all.
Did he do well on the road courses at least?
I don't know that he's ever won in NASCAR. How about that?
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now.
So while you're looking that up, I know even if Denny Hamlin was below the cut line, you'd probably still say, yeah, I feel great about him winning the regular season. But with 3 wins, do you still feel pretty good about that pick?
The regulars, he just needs 1 more win to do that. He needs 2 more, I suppose. But I think points-wise, he would be ahead of.
Okay, I'm fairly confident with my pick of William Byron, but But with the way they've structured the playoff schedule, you gotta like Chase Elliott's chances since there is a road course in every round of the playoffs leading into the championship race.
Okay.
Since they put in Watkins Glen in round 1, the Roval in round 2. Yeah, the Roval in round 3. So you have 2 of the rounds have a road course, and he's pretty strong on the road courses. So, Mike, what was Juan Pablo Montoya's best finish from what?
So he's had 2 wins.
All right.
One in Sonoma and one in Watkins Glen.
So road courses.
Road courses.
Okay.
Outside of that, his highest finish outside of his highest points finish is 8th, I think is what that means.
Okay.
But he's had 59 top 10s and 9 poles.
All right, so a little better than what you thought.
Yeah.
But still, but if you took off the road course wins.
Yeah, he
one top 10.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. But you'll get to see him come back as a road course ringer for Watkins Glen.
I actually don't mind that as looking at his stats now. I don't mind that as a road course ringer. That seems like a decent spot to be in. So, with that, Rich, I think that does it for NASCAR this week.
It does. So we kind of recapped where our fantasy NASCAR standings were last week, and obviously they haven't changed.
Nope.
And
so
when
does NASCAR come back?
NASCAR comes back on
August 11th at Richmond.
Okay.
I had it up. I thought you had it up too.
No. So next week we will get back to our normal programming in picking a NASCAR race winner for next week. So if you're playing fantasy NASCAR with us,
enjoy this week off.
Enjoy this week off. You should be able to edit your roster probably when they unlock for the normal coverage. So it should unlock on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. So make sure to set your lineup for Richmond.
Yep. Also, so Rich, take us out.
All right. So that was the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Avenue, and you can also find them on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So, Mike, let's keep making left-hand turns, but we're going to do it on the baseball diamond. So, Mike, tell us how the Cubs did this week.
The Cubs had 2 against the Royals, 3 against the Reds, and 2 against the Cardinals. They swept the Cardinals so far this series, and you know what? They won 2 against the Royals.
And they avoided a sweep in Cincinnati. Rich, I said they were only going to get 2. The way they've been playing, I would not have been surprised if 2 was their number. And you, Rich, picked 3. They won 5 overall. Great week. I think this is the best week they've had since May, I want to say. Probably. June was pretty bad.
Yeah. And 5-2 on the week. I'll take it anytime. This week, Rich, we also had the trade deadline. The Cubs did make a big move.
They did. They picked up Isaac Paredes from Tampa Bay.
Yep.
But
solid third baseman.
Yeah, an all-star third baseman.
All-star third baseman. And what we do know is we got rid of the defensive problems that Christopher Morel was bringing to third base.
That's right, because Christopher Morel is now a Tampa Bay Ray.
Yep.
And when we also shipped off 2 low-level minor league relievers.
I'm okay with that.
Weren't on the prospect radar for getting called up. And we also got 2 minor league relievers from 2 minor league pitchers from the Yankees and sent Mark Leiter Jr. packing.
I'm okay with
him out to the Bronx.
I'm okay with all of that. I really am okay with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I got no problems with any of that. So
yeah, I don't think that I think that there is that feeling of they're going to regret trading off Morel because he got a hot start in Tampa his first 2 games.
Yeah, but then after that,
but if you look, because I looked at the standing, looked at their stats, compared the 2 face to face, they have very similar production when it comes to runs, RBIs, home runs, but the big difference is that batting average.
And
244 versus a $199.
How about this? I'll even say it's the better thing, the defense.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
He's not a gold glove third baseman,
Nope.
but he can hold his own, and he's not going to be a liability.
Yep. And Christopher Morel was a liability at third base. Yep. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was a liability at third base. We didn't need him.
And they tried him at second base last year. Didn't stick. They tried him out in the outfield. Wouldn't stick.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss him because of his energy and the enthusiasm that he brought to the game when he was doing well, but he just struck out too much.
So I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
He made a statement this week saying, I wanted to be a Cub my whole career. How genuine do you feel about something like that? You're in baseball. I'm sorry. What's the number one rule of baseball? Everybody gets traded. Everybody. Name me one person. Okay, I can think of a couple. But how often does it happen that a guy plays his entire career in one location?
Nowadays, that is becoming a really hard to do. If you not going back to the 80s, the only guy that I can think of in today's game that's obviously never going to go anywhere, Mike Trout.
Okay,
that's it.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Bryce Harper came up with the Nats. What happened? Went and signed with Philly, a division rival. Not just taking the highest offer. And then you saw Freddie Freeman leave Atlanta, even though he was a good fit. He wanted to stay in Atlanta, but his agent got him the better deal.
I think part of the problem is the way that agents are playing nowadays, the hardball that the agents play. The agents will seem to always now want to go all the way out to arbitration and argue.
You don't see people taking the team-friendly deal or signing the extensions early anymore.
No, you don't. So I'm okay. Like that concept of wanting to be loyal. Like I like loyalty, but baseball is business.
It is.
And we teach our kids this. Some of the best Little Big League players get traded. Rookie of the Year players get traded. It's business. We know that as a young kid, I knew that players have to get traded. Why? Because I watched Little Big League.
Yeah, that wasn't the. If I'm remembering Little Big League right, it was their pitcher. I think it was Steve McGreevy. Because it came up on my reels. Talking about it, and it's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And then he goes to the bench, tells the bench coach, no, we're not going to trade you. We're not going to play. We're going to play you. I'm just going to throw my game. It's like, ask the bench coach, hey, what's the going rate for a pitcher with poor performance? Yeah. All of a sudden, he buys into the coach's program and plays. But and the other side here, you have the stepdad or step boyfriend negotiating for him, wanting to trade him to the Yankees. Yep. And he didn't want to leave the Cubs, obviously. That's his hometown team. No, so I'm talking about in Little Big League, and I don't remember, but the kid, so if you don't remember Little Big League, the grandson of the owner of the Minnesota Twins inherits the team after his grandfather dies. Yep. Makes himself the manager. And as such, now he's a whiz kid that knows everything about baseball. Like, honestly, probably could and does a good job of being a manager. Knows all the stats. And in fact, they set it up that he's a super genius, blah, blah, blah. Fine. We're past that. Okay. Mm-hmm. He actually has to trade a guy. And that was before. I'm not talking about the pitcher. He does have to trade a guy. I don't remember who it is, but he does end up having to trade a guy. And he says it's business. It's not. It's nothing but business. And he's like, and the guy's like, "What do you know? You're just this punk kid and blah 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 and blah blah blah." And he's like, "But trades are part of business in baseball." And in Angels in the Outfield, I think they traded a guy.
And when you watch, maybe not a kid's movie, but when you watch Bull Durham, you learn that you get traded. Like, trading is part of baseball. You can't get married to a city. I know it sucks, but getting married to a city, like, whoever thought that Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, who thought either of those two would leave the Cubs ever in 2016?
Yeah, I didn't see it. It was probably going to be hard to fit it in, to build a team with those two people at a high contract. But as a fan, you never thought that they would both leave.
And they neither,
let alone being traded away.
Right. Nobody from the 2016 team made it out to, like, so why do we expect Christopher Morel, who is failing the team miserably, to be kept around? He's either going to get cut or he's going to get traded.
Or get replaced and regulated to a bench role.
Right. This is the best option for him.
Because he got a good return for him.
Because Tampa can hide his flaws, or they can throw him as a DH.
They could. That's something the Cubs couldn't afford, or they couldn't justify because
none of our bats are hot enough to allow one of our bats to be low.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
I think he went to the right team because I think Tampa sometimes does think outside the box and knows how to develop their players. So they could just turn around and flip them in 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
So hopefully it works out for him. I wasn't able to find a good website that gave a good trade recap.
Yeah.
Good trade recap in a story form. It was all like videos, like winners and losers.
Let's do this. Let's put the pin in it for this week to talk about the rest of the trade deadline.
Try and research it.
We'll do some research this week. Bring it back next week. We'll talk some trade deadline.
All right.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan. So, Mike, this week the Cubbies have 2 with the Cardinals. They welcome the Twins into Wrigley during the week, and then they close out the weekend by going to the South Side to take on the struggling Chicago White Sox. How many wins are you going to give them?
Well, I almost guarantee you 1.
Good.
That's against the White Sox. Okay.
They are that bad. I think right now they're in the midst of a 15-game losing streak.
Yep. And they don't want to win. I don't understand it in baseball. Tanking in baseball doesn't make sense.
Because even a high draft pick, there's no guarantee that guy ever pans out or even makes it above AA.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're doing, but maybe I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah.
They'll get some good crowds out of it for the first time all year, probably.
Yep. They get decent crowds. Yankees come in town. They pull a decent crowd. I don't know. I don't watch them, but
at least the Cubs do.
And I think overall, they can get 3 out of this.
I'm gonna go 4. The team seems to have caught fire, and while they're disappointed against the division rival Reds, the Twins are kind of struggling to make it with the playoffs, and we know how bad the Sox are doing.
Yeah.
So, Mike, because I know with that it's getting past 10 o'clock, let's do our standings for next week as well, and circle back to that because I know we got a lot to talk about with the Olympics.
Yep. So, first, medal count for our adopted countries. I don't think either team has won a medal. I don't think so.
Hungary has won 2. Not Hungary.
Belgium.
Belgium has won 2 medals. They're both in cycling.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to put a link in there.
I found it. Google just has it on their page. Hungary has 5 overall medals.
5. Okay.
2 golds, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze.
All right. For the while you find Belgium, the United States has 9 golds, 18 silvers, 16 bronze, for a total of 43.
The Belgians have 1 gold and 2 bronze.
All right. So your overall leader in gold medals is China with 13. The home country, France, with 11, joining with the the Aussies, who also have 11.
Man, did you hear? So now we're going to get into storylines that we love about the Olympics.
That's right.
Do you want to do the big one first, or do you want to do the...
Let's talk about the big one.
Okay. Flava Flav!
Yeah, boy.
He adopted the women's water polo team. He found out that some of the women were working 2 or even 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and then they had to pay for training, and they had to do all this stuff that they were paying out of pocket. And he said, "I got you." And he just started paying, like he sponsors the team and just throws money. I don't know how much money, but he throws enough money that they don't have to worry about things like, am I going to get groceries this week?
Are we going to be able to make it to Paris?
Right. If I don't care what he did down in Clinton, I don't care about the charges that came from that. I love that he's doing this. But I did ask, like the first time I saw it, I said, yeah, but is this a money laundering scheme like that restaurant in Clinton? I don't care if it is. Let him. If he's gonna somehow figure out a way to launder money through that group, do it. Fine, I'm good.
Exactly. And he's not just throwing money at it; he's there cheering them on.
He is there. He is in the pool with them.
Yep.
There are pictures of him in the pool with them, just having fun. I love it. I am here for Flava Flav.
Yeah, and there was one other story. It's not just the women's water polo team.
Okay, who else?
There was a discus thrower that put a comment out on their Twitter, X now, saying that I don't know how I'm going to make rent this week. My college, they're only covering 75% of the cost while I'm here. While the football players get a full ride, they win a dang thing. Another word was used, but we try to be PG on this show.
Yeah.
Another word was used. That they win a dang thing. Flava Flav comments on that, sees it. Hey, send me a DM. I'll take care of that so you can focus on what you're doing here in Paris. And took care of her and said, I'll be there at the shot put event to see you win.
I love it.
And cheer you on.
So I have a couple of problems. This brings up a lot of problems. One, the disparagement between, look at the basketball players that are there right now. I'm sure they're staying in 5-star hotels. And I'm sure most of them are paying for the 5-star hotels that they're staying at.
Yeah, as a group, I think I heard that they looked at the housing facilities and said nope, and they footed a $15 million bill to put their own bill and stayed at a resort. And
because they are basketball players and they can afford to do that. They are professional basketball players that are getting paid millions of dollars a year, so they can afford to do that. But it opens up your eyes to the fact that look at the swimmers, the water polo people, all of these people. Most of the people in the Olympics don't get paid that much. In fact, it brings up another point. How much do you think a gold medalist in the United States? Let's say tomorrow you compete in, I don't know, what's your sport?
Let's just go with fencing, just as a sport.
You win the gold medal in fencing tomorrow. How much does the U.S. pay you? Because the U.S. will pay you. How much do you think you get paid? Remember, you put in years and years and years and years of practice.
1,000, but I'm probably wrong.
You're off. You make about $37,000.
$3,700.
Not bad. $37,000.
Okay.
$37,000. Do you know what they get in Singapore?
No.
$750,000. They get $750,000 to win it there. Best we can pay for. I mean, don't get me wrong. They don't have that many golds. So, maybe once in every generation, you get somebody that wins a gold there. But why is it that, 37 is nice, but why, a lot of these people have to go to facilities and pay to use the facilities. And if they don't pay to use them, they at least do some sweat equity and help out and teach and train and stuff. It's sad that the athletes that we look at every 4 years make less than college athletes.
Yeah, and you're also not everybody is getting endorsement deals.
Nope.
Because yes, you see obviously the men's basketball players
The
get made.
Even the women's soccer players generally get a decent one. And your big sports. Katie Ledecky has some stuff. Some of the swimmers, not all, some of the swimmers do.
But you only see their commercials either pre-Olympics, post-Olympics.
Yep. So they only are making that endorsement money during that time. Simone Biles, you get some stuff from her, not quite year-round, but you get it most of the year. But
her teammates, that's probably the first time you've heard of her Olympic teammates.
Yep.
First time.
Yep. And one of them won Worlds last year. One of the girls won all-around Worlds last year. And the girl's name wasn't Simone Biles. I think it was Suni something.
Suni Lee?
Yeah. I think she won national or Worlds last year. But did you know it before the Olympics?
Nope.
And I get it, but what's funny though is that the gymnastics probably the most popular sport when it comes to the Olympics.
Exactly. They find a way to get that. They make the program. NBC controls what you see.
Yeah.
But they make that a primetime priority
all the time
in gymnastics every single year, much like they do with figure skating in the Winter Olympics.
Yep. So other things. Let's go with other storylines because that's a big debate. I think they should get paid more. Do I think they need to be paid professionally? No, but at least make sure that if you make the Olympics, we should at least make sure that you don't have to worry about housing while you're at the Olympics.
Yeah, that's not much to ask. That's not a big ask. And I don't know, do you need to do those men's basketball players, they're professionals.
Yep.
Do they get that same gold medal bonus?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody does. If you win a gold medal, you get that bonus. Whether you need it or not. But here's my thing. I know you, Rich, so I think I know the answer to this. If you're a professional athlete, let's say you're a professional basketball player.
Right.
You're at the Olympics right now. You know that Katie Ledecky has to be sleeping on that cardboard bed that she has.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the fencers have to sleep on those. You're spending $15 million to go to a resort. Why not spend $15 million and rent out the Hyatt? Just rent out an entire hotel. Here's $15 million. We're going to do it. It's not that much money. LeBron James is worth $1 billion.
Yeah. If he knew he was going to be at the Olympics, you could easily
call ahead, be like, hey, I need the whole building. Thanks. Bye. And be like, hey, US, we're staying at the Hyatt this year.
Or not even that. I mean, even if it was, you know what, come stay at our facilities while you're leading into the competition, so you can get some good rest.
Or I got another one for you.
Mm-hmm.
How about this one? How about there's plenty of castles. Castles can house 100 people, probably 300 people. There's huge amounts of rooms. Run out a castle. Why not?
But part of the other things that you see around like the athletes posting things on their TikToks or their Twitter videos is what they're doing in the Olympic Village.
Yeah.
Here's what I had for lunch today. Here's what day one of my thing where they're unboxing all their merch and merch and goodies that they get for being a U.S. Olympian, all their uniforms.
I'm so glad you brought up
merch.
The best merch in the world.
And the pin, the collector pins. Oh, we're going to get this collector pin. And they're doing pin exchanges.
The best pin in the world.
So would you want to take that away from them just because you put them in the...
I guarantee you that all of those basketball players went in and checked in. Because you can check in and you can get your swag bag and then you can go to your hotel. Nothing says you have to stay in
the village.
Yeah. So they all got the swag bag too. But you brought up pins. Let's get off of the depressing side of it. Let's talk about some fun stuff. How about Snoop Dogg at the Olympics?
He has gotten a lot of coverage at the Olympics.
How hilarious is it that there's a pin of him blowing different colored smoke rings?
Yeah, I think I did see that.
I love it.
I think I saw that the Dutch, their pin was a set of clogs.
Oh, nice. I love the pins. That's always fun. Also, let's go with some other fun storylines. Or let's go with sports that we didn't know we were into until this Olympics. Mine right now, equestrian, eventing. It's called eventing. They do 3 different things. It's dressage, which is you march around. You're given a card and you're told you have to march from point A to point B in this style, and then you march from point B to point C in this style, and C to D in that style, and it changes up, and there's different ways you have to do it. You march around the pin, and that's how you do it. Then they do the cross-country run, which is just like it sounds. You're jumping over fences, and you're running and
on different types of surfaces
through the woods at Versailles, the greatest castle ever built. And this is where they are doing the on the grounds there, which is bigger than Central Park.
All right.
They are riding their horses through the heart of it. Amazing. And then after that, they go through and do a jumping course. My wife and I have watched every minute of it. Watched Great Britain win.
Okay.
Got a gold medal. Loved it. I legit could watch that regularly.
All right. I don't know if I haven't watched as much Olympic sports as I thought I would.
Okay.
But so I'd say maybe one that I've watched that I probably wouldn't watch on a regular basis, but table tennis.
See, I don't get into table tennis.
I don't know what it is. You see it, and with the way that they're hitting the ball, it almost looks like their head is hitting the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And not the paddle on that first hit. And just to see how intense it gets.
Oh, man. But my problem is, if your sport is a sport that I do better when I'm drunk, is it really a sport?
Could you beat any of those people drunk or sober?
I don't know, but I would try. I could try. Probably not. You're right. They'd hit it once and I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this. But again,
that's just the odd sport that normally.
Hey, I got
odd sport.
Fun fact. Do you know that for the Olympics and for real competitive, it's table tennis, but when it's but when you and I play it, we call it
ping pong.
Yep. And what do you call the thing that you hit it with?
A paddle?
Nope.
No. What is it?
In the Olympics, it's called a racket.
I did not know that.
Yep.
All right. So we both had a sport that we've kind of watched that we wouldn't have expected that we would have watched. So, Mike, give me one storyline besides the Flavor Flav and Snoop Dogg getting a lot of coverage.
Yep.
Whether it's providing coverage, getting camera time at events.
I feel
fluff pieces. So
I feel bad saying this, but how about? Well, I got 2. I'm gonna give you 2 real quick.
Okay.
Both of them are really quick because they're ones that everybody knows.
All right.
Number 1, Katie Ledecky winning by half a lap, 3/4 of a lap.
I did not see the race. I heard about it.
Amazing. Just the dominance she has in that event is, I don't know that anybody else has ever been that dominant in any sport we've ever seen. Even Michael Phelps, it was touches that got him win. This girl is winning by half a lap. That's number 1. Number 2, Simone Biles returned. and winning gold medal in the all-around after having to bow out in Tokyo for mental health reasons. Okay. Yeah, those two storylines have been on the forefront of everything, but they've both lived up to the pressure and withstood it and have done great. And I like Simone Biles, and her husband
is now a Chicago Bear.
So,
all right. So the two that I'll give you, I was thinking you were going to take one of mine. So I actually have to. I'm going to have to go with the Turkish. Yeah, the Turkish pistol shooter.
Yep, love that guy.
Shows up. You see other competitors with special glasses, which covers one of their eyes to present a glare, noise canceling headphones, and I think I even saw somebody had like a special, like a magnifying lens.
Oh yeah.
On their shooting eye. This dude shows up. He's probably got the cheap foam hearing protection.
It doesn't even look like he has hearing protection.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like it. Just squares up, other hand, his non-shooting hand in his pocket, gets the silver medal.
I love that guy. That guy is my spirit animal.
Gets the silver medal. And the other one, I'm going to have to go with the women's rugby player from the U.S.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of time just talking about body positivity. You don't Olympic athletes come in all shapes and sizes, and you can still be beautiful, and you can. Yeah, we're still beautiful in our own way, and you don't. Even if you look like me, you have a body like me. That doesn't mean you're not beautiful.
Yeah, so. No, it's been great to see storylines. How about storylines you don't like? I don't like where women's boxing is right now.
I don't either.
And again, I don't want to get political about it, but the International Boxing Association has disqualified 3 of the people that are boxing as women right now because testing testing that they had done indicated that they were not feminine, that they were not females, / too much testosterone. Those were the 2 words that they used. We weren't going to do this one, and I brought it up. Pat McAfee talked about it. Up until the age of high school, like your body is built by your chromosomes.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you can feel like you're in the wrong body. And if you do, that sucks, but that doesn't mean that you weren't built with power, with strength of that body type that you were born in. If you're a male and you feel like if you were born biologically a male, your muscles are put together in the way that a man's muscles are. That is different than how a female's body is. The makeup of female's body is completely different. It is hard to watch people who's worked their whole lives to do something and to then have to face someone who has been rejected by an organization that normally would govern this activity, only to have that person be eliminated. Like, to have that person be so much beyond that of others because of what their physical makeup is. I don't know the situation. I'm not here to argue the right or wrong of it. I just know that it's heartbreaking to see what happened to that boxer.
Yeah. Somebody came out really bad, swollen face. The gal from Italy who's getting a lot of press of stopping the match 45 seconds in because she took a couple headshots and felt, nope, I'm not continuing on.
She's been boxing her whole life. She's been boxing at a level that lets her get into the Olympics. High enough level that she deserves to be at the Olympics. She actually is considered one of the top boxers in the world. And she bows out because she said she's never been punched that hard in her life. And she's fought men. It sucks. I hope the woman that wins. I mean, if it's the Algerian woman, okay. I don't.
Chinese Taipei, I think, also has a similar fighter.
I don't want. That's surprising to me. I don't want them to get booed because of it. But I think you have to do. I think there has to be some level of testing, just because body makeups are so much different. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I know who does. That's Jesus. He's the one that has the answers. He hasn't told me them yet. So let's get back to good storylines. Do you have any other good storylines that you've seen this Olympics? Ooh, no. Let's go to the bad one. One more bad one.
One more bad one, okay.
The River Sends.
Yeah, I did hear that. A lot of people were saying that they had to postpone the.
So they had to postpone.
They postponed it because of water levels not being up to standard, and you had swimmers also saying that it didn't taste right. It didn't taste good.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I don't know. Hopefully it's better when they go to LA. Are they going to do the event out in the ocean, out in the Pacific Ocean?
Probably. Sorry. Now, I heard a quote. I think this is the right one. One of the great British, and it's a quote that I saw. I don't know how accurate it is. I didn't follow up the sources. I apologize, but there's a quote that one of the athletes said, "Well, we were told that we might end up coming up to E. coli, so I've just been doing things like, not washing my hands after going to the bathroom or this, that, and the other to build up my tolerance to E. coli," which technically you can do. Like, it's terrible. Like, so the first day when they knew, the first day that they had to postpone it, and then the second day, even if it's one, like, even if it's when they test it, it's not going to drop by a ton. Like, once you knew the first day wasn't going to work, why not move out to, like, why not, when you knew the question was happening, have a plan for Tahiti? Tahiti is a French protectorate.
That's where the surfing event is.
That's where surfing's happening.
So
why not
everyone on a plane, fly them out to Tahiti?
Yep. Air France. Everybody get on this plane on Air France. We're going to get you to Tahiti. You got 12 days. You had 12 days from Tuesday that you could say, okay,
acclimate, practice, and then we're going to have the event.
We're going to get the course ready. Tahiti, be ready. We got these athletes coming. We're going to get.
I'm sure there's plenty of room on that cruise ship because that's where the surfers got to stay. They are staying on a cruise ship. That's their Olympic village.
I think they should have done it, and then once that gets done, let them go. Like that, to me, that's what should have happened. I don't like it. And then you find out that things like, because how old the city is, the sewer system, when it rains, gets overloaded with water, and so raw sewage just goes into the river regularly. Don't go swimming in there. If you go to France, don't go swimming in the river, at least. That's gross.
All right. I heard there was food shortages.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, there was food shortages.
France, the home of...
In the Olympic Village. The catering company couldn't keep up with the...
So, fun story. How about this for a storyline? On my Facebook, if you follow me on Facebook, you will see pictures of food every day, except for today. I didn't do it today. I'm sorry. I was on the road and I haven't had a chance. Maybe we'll go make some croissants after this. I don't know. But every day this week, my wife and I have made, except for today, have made some sort of French cuisine. We made a tarte tatin, which is basically a French apple pie, cooked upside down.
All right.
Quite good. I made ratatouille. We made, what was it? Ratatouille, the tartane. We made braised spare ribs in a French red wine demi-glaze. Really good. One day I kind of cheated, kind of. I had a bone marrow bones that I took, and you can use bone marrow to fry stuff, and that's a classic French thing that they do. Also eat straight bone marrow, which is delicious. But I took that, used it to fry up some steaks, and then made hors d'oeuvres out of it. And hors d'oeuvres are French.
Right.
So I've been having fun with it. Didn't get to do it today. A little bummed. But how about this? For the next Olympics in Italy, I don't know. My wife loves Italian food, so we might just do a bunch of Italian food. But we also might do food from around the world.
Okay.
Just random countries. So we'll see what it looks like when we get there.
All right, Mike. So that's our Olympic talk. We'll push the NFL back. So for next week, Mike, we are going to start our NFL season preview.
Okay.
And next week, Mike, we're going to talk the Bears. So come ready.
Yep.
We're going to give a full win-loss prediction for their entire schedule, maybe storylines to follow, as well as I know how you feel on it already, but we're still going to talk about it. A talking point will be Coach Eberflus. Eberflus.
We'll have that conversation. You know I'm ready to talk about Coach Eberflus.
I know you are.
I got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears next week.
That sounds good.
All right. So, Mike, do you have any shout-outs to give this week?
A ton of shout-outs. Did we talk about Life Day last week?
I don't think so. It doesn't hurt to bring it up again.
Buddy of the show, Joe Perry, 13 or 14 years ago, got shot in Afghanistan, caught one in the jaw, one in the leg. He had his Life Day on Monday. We are so happy that you're alive, Joe, and you're able to take care of your family, standing up for them and being their defender, and just an all-around amazing man. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. So there's that. And then Wednesday is my wife's birthday, this Wednesday coming up.
Okay.
So I'll give that shout out this week, and I'll give it again next week. But
as you should.
We're going to do a date night Wednesday night. I don't know what that's going to look like. It's also my boss's birthday. Kind of weird. They share a birthday. That's weird to me.
Okay.
Any other shout outs for you?
I do not have any shout outs, Mike.
Okay.
So, Mike, let's go ahead and roll that outro.
Oh, man, that caught me way too quick. I had it.
You had it.
I had it.
All right. While you're bringing that up, if you're watching us here on YouTube and you want to take us on the road, make sure to look us up wherever you find your on your favorite podcast platform. More than likely we'll be there. Search for Balls and Sticks Podcast. If you're listening to us in podcast land and you want to see the live recording, look us up on YouTube. With that, Mike, go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rick.